Hey there, second grade. We're going to jump right into our next math lesson. Last week we started talking about graphs, and we said a graph or chart shows information in different ways, and it should be easy to read. And last week you got to watch me make a bar graph out of jelly beans. Remember that? So that was fun. And you guys should have made a bar graph with the problem on the website. So good job if you did that. Those looked great. And we talked about what a bar graph looks like last week, how to make it, what things we need on it, numbers, names, title. So today we're going to we're going to talk about and we're going to make a line plot. And a line plot shows data on a number line, and it uses X to represent the frequency or how many times something happens. So our line plot here is letters in our names, and I did myself, Mrs. Amspaw, the names of the people in our class, Mrs. Lama, Miss Schaefer. I even threw Mrs. McClure's husband in there and used his name. So those are the people that I looked at their names, and you can see the one with the most was 7. 3 people have 7 letters in their name. We did have one person, Mrs. Amspaw, who had 11 letters in her name. So our graph kind of has a lot of different things. We've got some even as low as 4, one as high as 11. So this is a really good line plot. It's a good sample of different numbers. So we are going to make a line plot in our video today. And I have one started. So I did a little bit of a sample before the video started, so that way when you guys got on, you could join me. Now, I have a title to my line plot. It's called Luck of the Draw Line Plot, and we've used these symbols in class before. What am I using to make my line plot? I'm using cards. So I am just drawing cards and then marking on my line plot what number it is. So I have in my deck numbers 1 through 10. The ace is 1, remember? And each X equals 1. So far I've pulled 1, 2, 2 threes, and 3 nines. So I'm going to do a couple more samples so you guys can see how I'm creating the graph. And you guys can follow along with me. So I'm going to fix the camera here so you can watch what I'm going to do. So here's my cards over here, and I'm just going to pull one, and then we're going to mark it on the graph. And I have some questions down at the bottom. What number did I pull the most? Which number the least? And are there any that are the same? So just keep those in mind as we go through. A 1. And I'm not looking at the symbol on the card. I'm just looking at the number. That was my first one there. Ooh. 8. And so you just keep doing this for your whole sample and look at each card or each number and plot it on your number line. And it's called a line plot because we are just doing that. We are plotting on a number line, plotting X's, plotting the X's, remember, represent objects or people. Like in this case, each X equals 1 card drawn, but in the one on the poster, each X equals 1 person. Another new one. So you just keep drawing and graphing until you get to the end of your sample, and then you answer the questions. Ooh, that's a new one. So I only have a few cards left, so I can't wait to see what the graph looks like. But as you can see, this is pretty easy to make. It's very easy to read. You can easily tell how many I have of each one. All right, that brings us to the end of my card stack. And so now we can answer the questions based on the graph. So here's our graph. This is what it looks like. I've got my X's on the different numbers that I drew. And so now we're going to answer the questions. Which number did I draw the most? So do I have one that is higher than all the other ones? I do not. But if we look down at question 3, I do have a lot that are the same. I pulled 3 1s, 3 3s, and 3 9s. So those were my highest pulls, but they are all tied. Those ones are tied. So we can't, if we wanted to say which one was the most, we would say Mrs. McClure pulled the most of 1s, 3s, and 9s. You have to include all of them. You can't just include one. And then which one did I pull the least? Our guy down there are 10. I only had one 10. I didn't have any 5s or 6s. So actually, I was wrong. Actually, my least is going to be 5 and 6, right? Because I don't have any. I have 0 5s and 6s. So I would say that Mrs. McClure didn't pull any 5s or 6s. So those were the least pulled card. All right. So pretty easy, quick, new graph for you guys to make. Check out your problem on the website there and use your line plot to solve. And when you're done, you can send me a picture of it. And we will see you next week. Have fun.